What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with NIO, Tesla, SPY, and the overall market. I'm going to break down why the market saw a very nice move after the CPI data came out, what the data looked like, and what this means for NIO, at least moving forward. I'm also going to talk about Tesla news and what I do think is going to pan out as time goes on, and make a bit of a change in this channel. So just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000 more, you're guaranteed 30 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY on invested cash. Soft ends at the end of March, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's talk about the market. So one thing I want to do a little bit differently on this channel is prioritize NIO and Tesla, and I will talk more about the other tickers in less detail because I think that those are two of the most popular ones, and I think that I also want to continue to talk about NIO because I see a lot of opportunity in it, and there is a lot of popularity amongst retail for it. Because even though it's undervalued right now, this is a very good opportunity for where it's going to be in many years to come, which is why I'm going to continue to promote this. And years will go by, and people will see that I was one of the first people to promote this for a very long time. But anyways, it's based off like passion and my own sentiments and also what other people want. With that being said, what do I see for this? Looking at NIO, we have a nice double bottom here, and we're seeing a nice rebound attempt for that 20 EMA at 4.18. If we could break that, I think this will be pushing for about 4.33. Also, Tesla is looking quite good. It's trying to break resistance right here. So it's doing a great job, at least thus far. Now, in order for this to continue to push, you want to see it try to fill this gap for 430. If that breaks, this could easily make its way back up to the 440s, forming a nice accumulation. So we're seeing a breakout attempt of this resistance so far. Might get a back test before it tries to continue to push. And overall, it's looking quite good. I think that both of these stocks are looking bullish because of the CPI reports. Let's talk about that first, and I'll break down the news. CPI month over month on a core basis was at 0.2%, aligned with expectations. Core CPI year over year was at 3.2%. That's below expectations, which is good. And that is a slight decrease compared to the previous report. Inflation for all items month over month was at 0.4%, aligned with expectations. And then CPI for all items year over year was at 2.9%. That was aligned with expectations, but it was a slight increase compared to before. Look at the year over year data. As you guys could see, we're seeing a bit of a decrease in core for the first time in quite a while, but there is a slight uptrend that's been respected in all items. So that's a little bit concerning. However, this was what the market was expecting. Everything was expected like this, and that's why the market is still fine, because it's not a massive increase. It's only by 0.2%. Let's hope that this does cool off at least as time goes on. I also want to say the market dumped quite a bit, so it was due for a bounce, especially thanks to big bank earnings. The majority of the big bank earnings were quite good. We saw new records from BlackRock with their assets under management hitting new highs. And we saw Citi not only hit a profit, but expect another profit for the upcoming years. So good news from big bank earnings. The large majority of them were in the green. Good news, beating on expectations. Tomorrow we have TSMC, United Health Group, Bank of America, and Morgan Stanley all announcing earnings, so just keep that in mind. So anyways, let's talk about the news now. As far as NIO goes, the third edition of the Electric Car of the Year election by eDrivers.com has come out. This is good news for them because the ET5 Touring is now being crowned as the EV of the year of 2024. With the most votes, that's some good news for them that's come out. So they've got a very nice award by eDrivers.com. So that's good news, at least for NIO. Goldman Sachs gave them a sell rating, but there's nothing else that came out since then. The price price ratio got decimated, but we're going to want to see if it bounces from here because it's at that low, which is where it tends to do that. And then Thursdays tend to be weaker days. They're only green about 50% of the time, so it's like a 50-50 day. And we see more volatility at 10 a.m. and also during the final hour of the day for NIO. So keep that in mind. As far as news goes, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy, but I did see Bernstein select the superior EV stock to buy, and they gave a lot of opportunity in NIO. They are saying that there's opportunity to buy into it because of the fact that it's undervalued. They mentioned the fact that they have a very solid product line, but they did mention that they have a lot of difficulties in meeting their goals, and for them to become a lot more confident, they want to see them continue to maintain those goals. So if anything, they think that it's going to be a very competitive environment. And if they can truly double their sales for 2025, they see a lot of potential in it. But that depends on if they can really hit those growth factors. And we'll see how things end up going, especially as we approach Q1 of 2025. Right now, there's about 4 buy ratings, 5 holds, and 2 sell ratings for NIO. Not too bad. But the majority of analysts and investors are saying to buy or hold. As far as Tesla goes, they launched their Model Y Juniper in China and Australia, and they may be doing this in Europe as well. Sources claim that they are building their first Model Y refresh at the Gigafactory in Berlin. We don't know for sure. I think that that's what sources say. If that's the case, they could be announcing this very, very soon, at least, in Europe, and that's going to be a big game changer for them. Tesla's American sales also came out. They weren't as strong in 2024 compared to 2023. However, that gives them a lot of opportunity for bigger growth for 2025. They also plan on suspending part of their Model Y lines in China for upgrades. Completely normal. They do this all the time to slow things down, just to improve things, just to get ready for those sales to go up. And I saw a bearish case of Tesla from Wells Fargo, which I don't really agree with. They think Tesla could collapse 70% to $125 in the next year. I don't think it's going to happen unless something, absolutely terrible happens. But I find that very unlikely. I think that they may have missed out on buying the dips. I think that there could be a pullback coming to Tesla in the future. Sure, you could always argue that, but ultimately, there's a bigger bull case than a bear case as they develop AI, their new technologies, and we see a lot of insane growth. I also think that there's going to be a lot of optimism about their robotics and AI developments with their robotaxi coming out very, very soon. That's going to be very bullish, if anything, and I don't think it's going to be dumping that much. On top of this, when it comes to news for tomorrow, we have initial jobless claims tomorrow morning and data from the Philly Fed when it comes to new orders, employment, and such. New orders are going to be a little bit more forward-looking, so we'll see what that looks like for our economy. So look for the Philly Fed data giving us insights about employment and new orders and prices. And then also initial jobless claims. That's what's coming out tomorrow morning. That's pretty much it. There's nothing else too crazy coming out, so just keep that in mind. Besides that, I think I went over the majority of the news. Let's focus on the charts now. So Tesla could get a backtest of this breakout area. So we're trying to break past this resistance that was holding us down for quite some time. We get a back test here, a retest of like 420 or so, and bounce off of this. We could be trying to push closer to about not only 430, but we could try to surpass that for the 440 plus area, looking for a very, very nice move. And as far as NIO goes, I think that we could try to rebound right over here for about 4.18, which if we break, we're looking for 4.3. We have a double bottom right here, maybe like a triple bottom, which could be leading to more upside. So I think we could be pushing even higher. For the rest of these tickers, just real quick, SPY is testing resistance at this trend line right over here. We need to try to break this. If we break past 594, we're looking for a pump to get back up to about 596. And eventually our next target is going to be closer to 600. If we can't break this stone, we end up losing 590. We're looking for a dump to 588, all the way back down towards 585. So watch those supports. I think we favor upside for a break of 594 to start pushing for higher levels like 596 plus. This looks a bit more bullish if we get that break, so we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. But SPY has more potential as there's a lot of buyers who are defending it very, very nicely. So this may try to push a little bit higher. We'll see if we get a rejection here or not, but this still favors upside a bit more. On the QQQ, same thing. We have a big test tomorrow. We have this resistance, this trend line of resistance we're going to be testing. If we don't break this, we come back down to about 514, then 510. If we do break this, we push up towards 520. I'm hoping we get that break tomorrow to push for 520, so we'll see if that ends up being the case or not. For the IWM Russell 2000, same setup. So we hit this resistance, came back down. Now we're trying to push back up. So I think there might be an attempt to get back up to 226 tomorrow. If we break that, we're looking for 230. If we lose 221.8, we dip back down, but I think this is favoring upside a little bit more. For futures such as ES, we have 6,000 resistance. Our main support is going to be at 59.60, not to mention 59.34. I'm hoping we break 6,000, start pushing up to this next imbalance towards 6,030. So I hope we get that break. Might slow down a bit and then try to break out here. So we'll see if we break our 200 EMA to start pushing for 6,030. For SPX, we're looking a bit more bullish. We need to try to hold above 59.35. As long as we hold that, we're looking for a push for 59.70. If we lose support here, we're looking for a dip to about 5,900 flat, so we'll see which way we end up going. There is this big gap to fill, so if we lose 5,900, I will be a bit more concerned. But this is favoring that I might try to continue to push for 5,980. For others out there, we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin pushed to 100,000 only to slow down. Might be a small slowdown back down to 99,000 flat before it tries to bounce. We have a bullish divergence and accumulation that could be bringing us all the way up to 102,000. Might get a dip here before it tries to continue to push, so it still looks a bit more bullish. Nvidia is trying to break here. We do have a tough resistance approaching at 137. I think we push to test that tomorrow. If we break that, we're looking for 138, then 140. If we don't break this, we could turn back down towards 134. But I think we push for 137. We'll see if we break past that to get to 138 to 140. I see potential in that nonetheless. For Aapl, we need to try to hold above 237. As long as we're above that, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 240. I think that this looks like an inverse head and shoulders, and we could be looking for 240 as a potential target. So it's looking pretty good so far. Coin looks a bit more bullish. As long as we don't lose 269, we favor a push for 280. Amazon is looking quite promising. As long as we don't lose 221, we favor a slow push for 225 plus. For Meta, we could be retesting 606. If we bounce off this, we're looking for 615. If we lose this, we could be dipping again. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders here, so it could dip to about 606 and bounce back up towards 622. So I see potential in this. For Microsoft, we look a bit more bullish. If we break past 428, we're looking for an attempt to get back up to 430. If we lose 424, we're going to be dipping back down towards 420. I favor 428 or above. I think Microsoft has potential. I think Google also looks a little bit more bullish. We're going to be looking for this resistance at 198. If that breaks, we're looking for 200. If we can't break that, we're looking for support right here around 195. But I think I favor 198 and 200 as our potential targets. For the VIX, we have this rejection off of Head and Shoulders, and there's a gap down here to fill, which makes me suspect this might be dipping a little bit lower. As of right now, it favors downside, which is good for the markets. The 10-year is tipping a bit, so this could continue to fall. We're going to be testing previous resistance, becoming support at 4.6. If we lose that, we could be dipping a little bit lower, so we'll see if we end up hitting that 5 mark. Be careful, guys. It's at support. The dollar is also at support, so it could go either way. But as of right now, the charts do favor upside as a stronger possibility. So I hope that NIO and Tesla continue to hold up. Look for a test of 4.18 for tomorrow, and we'll see how things go from here. Don't forget the data tomorrow is quite minor, but we just got CPI, and the momentum the market is building could perpetuate. With that being said, I thank you all so much for listening, so please have a good rest of your day, and peace out.